Gentlemen, and welcome back into another edition of Keytime Sports. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Keytime Sports right here on YouTube, Key City Sports on Instagram, and also go and follow my page on millions.co, the key at Keywond Dowell. The first game that I want to get into is the Battle of Iowa, the Iowa Hawkeyes and the Iowa State Cyclones. Now, basically, this game was a defensive struggle throughout. Not too many big plays, but Iowa State Cyclones did what they had to do. Iowa State came into this game ranked number 16th, and Iowa, the Hawkeyes, they gave them a run for their money. Now, I seen this game in its entirety. Now, there were quite a few times on third down where I was expecting Iowa to make a play on third down, but we all know over the last 4 years that the Iowa Hawkeyes, haven't been able to sustain much success offensively. And you can even see it in these statistics right here. Mark Gronowski, 13 of 24, 83 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Rushing for the Hawkeyes, Julian Patterson, 60 yards. Mark Gronowski, 37 yards. Xavier Williams, 26 yards. Tyrell Washington Jr., 8 yards. And that totals out to 131 yards. Iowa State Cyclones rushing yards, Abul Sama III, 47 yards. Carson Hansen, 46 yards. Rico Beck, 11 yards. And that was all, 104 yards. So now when we look at the receiving advantage, Iowa State Cyclones, they had 134. Iowa Hawkeyes receiving only had 83. Fumbles, both teams had a fumble in this game, and the Iowa State Cyclones recovered the fumble that the Hawkeyes fumbled. And the Iowa State defense had a better defense than the Iowa Hawkeyes. Now let me switch on over. Let me fast forward to the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter, a lot of times in the fourth quarter, the Hawkeyes had a chance to score a touchdown, but they settled for a field goal. And then on that fourth down, before the game ended, it was pretty much just a bad play. Now, the Hawkeyes, this is going to be another long season for them without any, and I do mean without any, offensive morales, because their offense coming into the season was projected to be bad, and their offense is bad. After just 2 weeks, their offense is bad. Even though, and I do mean even though that last week they scored 34 points, it wasn't against competent competition. It wasn't against legitimate competition. Like I said, anytime a big college beats a group of five school, I'm not going to give them any credit. You're supposed to do that because you get more recruits than what a group of five school does. So as far as the Iowa State Cyclones, they did what they were supposed to do. Team statistics, third down efficiency, and this is where the Hawkeyes lost the game. You cannot win a game when you go 5 of 14 on third down. You cannot win a game when you go 1 for 2 on fourth down. Total yards, 238 to 214. That was pretty much in the same boat. Interceptions thrown, Iowa threw an interception. Rushing, pretty much the same, 3.4 yards for the Hawkeyes, 3.5 yards for the Iowa State Cyclones. Penalties, they were pretty much, non-existent in this game. 4 for Hawkeyes, 38 yards. 5 for 42 yards for the Cyclones. Turnovers. Each team had a turnover, but Iowa State, they scored off of Iowa's turnover. And time of possession. Hawkeyes had more time of possession, but they lost the game. Now, they always say numbers never lie, but sometimes numbers do lie. And these numbers, they lied when it came to the Hawkeyes and the Cyclones game. The next game I am going to cover, and this was one of the games that I was very shocked by, because how does SMU lose this game? I just want to know, how does SMU lose this game when they had a chance to go up by 17 points the middle part of the fourth quarter? They wasn't going to kick a field goal. They were going for a touchdown, and that is what basically lost them the game, because it was 24-38 with about 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. 8 minutes. And you are on your opponent's 35-yard line, Baylor's 35-yard line, and you could have kicked a field goal there to go up 17. But on fourth down, you go for a pass play. Pass play gets knocked down, and the Baylor defense, which hadn't done anything throughout the entirety of the game, they get a fourth down stop when they need it. Baylor goes down the field, touchdown. Baylor goes down the field again after getting the ball back and scores a touchdown, ties the game at 38. And so I'm looking at this, I'm saying that SMU's they had poor clock management. They did. They had poor clock management. Statistics. Sawyer Robinson for Baylor, 34 of 50, 440 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Kevin Jennings, 16 of 22, 295 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. The Baylor rushing attack and the SMU rushing attack had the same amount of yards, 161 for Baylor and 163 for the SMU Mustangs. Baylor, their wide receivers had a field day. SMU's wide receivers had a field day. But this comes back to what I was saying just a few seconds ago. SMU, you had a chance to win this game. You should have kicked the field goal in the middle of the fourth quarter, and you would have went up by 17. Now, these early season games, they're starting to hold weight for the college football playoff bracket. They are. And I remember a few years back, it wasn't like that, but now the committee is, they're starting to, penalize the team that loses a big game. They'll drop them, 3, maybe 4 spots. And, most people think that since this is Overreaction Monday, well, wow, this is a huge wake-up call. Like, this team was supposed to be, I'm just going to give you an example. Like, this team is supposed to be 7th. Now they're down at 11 or 12. It's like, is their stock dropping? And I'm pretty sure people are going to be saying that SMU, this was a team that went to the college football playoff last year. This was a team that averaged 42 points last season, and they have averaged 42 points just in these 2 games alone. And you still lose to a Baylor team. Their defense is at the bottom of college football already, giving up 38 points to Auburn and giving up 45 points to the SMU Mustangs. But the Baylor Bears, they got lucky for some reason. They got lucky, and as far as overall statistics in this game, look at this. This is where SMU lost the game. Third down efficiency, 8 for 18 Baylor, 5 of 13 SMU. Total yards, SMU gave up 601 yards. Now, you're not going to win a game when you're giving up 600 plus yards. And to Baylor, they didn't do much better, 458 yards. Neither one of these teams was supposed to win this game. But in a game like this, you have no defense. Somebody has got to win the game at the end of the day. Yards per pass, 8.8 for Baylor. And look at this. This is what I say about the Baylor passing defense. They cannot stop the pass. 13.4 yards per pass for SMU. Rushing, 163 to 144. 163 to 161. Penalties, they had the same amount of penalties. Baylor turned the ball over more than SMU. And as far as time of possession, Baylor had 32 minutes. SMU had 27 minutes. Now, I'm not going to say that this game was an offensive shootout, but bad defensive play. It was bad defensive play. And you got a coaching staff for SMU that already had the game won with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And if he kicked the field goal, SMU would have been up 17 points. And I'm going to say this. SMU, if there's one game at the end of the season that SMU is going to look back on and say, we should have got that game, and that probably would have propelled us to get into the college football playoff or have a better bowl game appearance, it is going to be this game with Baylor. It is. It's going to be this game with Baylor. The next game I am going to cover, and the only ranked game that was on the schedule for this weekend, was the Michigan Wolverines and Oklahoma Sooners. Now, this game, I'm going to take a minute to analyze this game and digest this game because I've seen a lot from Oklahoma I liked. I've seen a lot from Michigan where they have to work on some things. And I even heard someone yesterday when I was watching the Jaguars game at one of the hangout spots I go to, he was saying that Michigan is going to be one of those teams to make it to the college football playoff. I don't see that happening. Now I'm going to go ahead. Bryce Underwood, 9 of 24. I'm just saying 9 of 24. You're not going to win a game when you're just completing 9 passes. I don't care how good your defense is. You're not going to win a game by just completing 9 passes. And also, Michigan rushing attack. Justice Haynes, 125. Then you had a significant drop-off outside of Justice Haynes. You had Jordan Marshall, 28 yards. You had Bryce Underwood, -1 yard. And then you had Donovan McCulley, -6 yards. So rushing attack for Michigan had 146 yards. And as far as receiving, here's everybody that had receiving for Michigan. Michigan, the best thing for Michigan to do is, well, I'm just going to say this. Worst case scenario I see for Michigan is they get to a bowl game and win. Worst case scenario, Michigan gets to a bowl game and gets blown out. But either way, the head coach for the Michigan Wolverines, he is there to stay. Sharon Moore, he's going to be suspended for 3 games, but he is able to pick those 3 games that he doesn't want to be a part of. Now, now this game against Oklahoma, he wasn't there. And you can see from the Michigan defense, there were so many missed tackles Saturday night in that Oklahoma Michigan game. It was. Now, do I think Michigan was worthy of their ranking? No, I don't think so. And a lot of people have also said when it comes to the team that I like, the Florida Gators, we weren't worthy of our ranking heading into the season. And me, I don't have no problem with that. I don't, because group of five schools, you're supposed to dominate them. Michigan, group of five school, they played last week. They dominated them. Then when you get to legitimate competition, now let me tell you, Oklahoma, they didn't light up the scoreboard either. When you see their statistics, didn't light up the scoreboard. You had John Mateer, 21 of 34, 270 yards, one touchdown, one interception, and then you had the Oklahoma Sooners. They had a better, well, a slightly better run game, but it didn't total out to what Michigan had. Oklahoma only had 138 yards, and Michigan had 146. But missed opportunities down in the red zone is what hurt Michigan. Missed opportunities. And as you can see, I keep on saying this. How long? I've been saying this throughout the show and ever since I started this show. Third down efficiency is what is going to win you the game. But Michigan was very inefficient. 3 of 14. I always say you are not going to win a game when you are 3 of 14 at anything, no matter what sports league you are in, no matter what level of ball you are on. 3 of 14 on third down ain't going to cut it. And as you can see, Oklahoma, 9 of 17, they had the upper hand in that. Fourth down efficiency, 0 of 1. Oklahoma, 1 of 1. Total yards, Oklahoma, 408. Total yards for Michigan, 288. Passing, 270 to 142. Now, to all you Michigan fans out there, you're not going to the college football playoff. You're really not. And really, you shouldn't have been worthy of your ranking. But, college football playoff committee, that the college football playoff committee going to throw any team, and I do mean any team, starting out the season, who they think is worthy of this ranking or that ranking, because I believe to start out the season, they had, Michigan at 15 and then, Florida at 13, which I was a little bit surprised that the Gators were ranked that high. But you have quite a few teams that are really not worthy of their ranking, but they are still in the top 25. They are. So one last thing I'm going to say, my final take for this game, then I'm going to get out of here and start prepping for tomorrow's show. Tomorrow's show is all about the NFL, so please tune in to tomorrow's show. But now, last thing, Oklahoma, I said this before the start of the season. Brett Venables, it's a make or break year for you, because this is year 4, and first season 6-7, second season 11-2. You won your bowl game. Last season 6-6 and lost your bowl game, so 6-7. And this season, currently, you are 2-0. Is Oklahoma one of those powerhouses that we are going to be keeping a close eye on come October, November, and December? Or is it too early in the season to tell? Now, this is just week 2. I always say that after 4, maybe 5 games, you know what kind of team you have because you have been on the football field and the season is a month old after 4 weeks. It's a month old. So Michigan, I don't have you going anywhere. Oklahoma, I got to see a little bit more about Oklahoma before I can just go on ahead and put them in my college football playoff bracket. And with that, those are my reactions to week 2 of the college football season. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to Keytime Sports right here on YouTube, Key City Sports on Instagram, and also go follow my page on millions.co, the key at Keywond Dowell. And remember, everybody, one last thing, the key is always on time.